Good evening from Swansea, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for pro wrestling insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. Last night was WWE Raw. There was some stuff which was good, there was some stuff which was not so good, and some stuff which, well, just felt like a mess. But today we are going to cover it all, and joining me to cover it all, we firstly have Chaos. How are you, Chaos?
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Oh, sorry, happy Tuesday. Sorry, I got my days mixed up. But yeah, we are here to talk about Raw and all that good stuff and the positives and the negatives and all that. But before just why you have the camera on me, the focus on me, I like to make a little surprise announcement. Yeah, it's I don't know how else to really say it. So it's like, basically I've succumbed to all the hype and the trend of everything, even though I've backed away from it for so long. And unfortunately I've been basically influenced, if you will, to giving this a try. So Ben, I think you'll be proud of this. I've got myself a bottle of Prime for the first time ever. And
No.
yeah.
No.
It's I have not tried it yet. It's the ice pop flavor.
It's a good one.
So yeah, hopefully during the show, if you see me wincing in the corner, then you know how I feel about this. But yeah, yeah.
We've got to do a taste test. We've got to do that taste test now later on for sure. But also joining us. Yes, we will. We'll certainly do that. Also joining us, we have David. How are you today, David?
Hello. I am very excited to be on today. We are talking Monday Night Raw, a show that I seem to have enjoyed an awful lot more than everybody else did, from what I've seen on social media and from the reactions of others. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm quite excited to talk about it.
Nice. Yeah, to be honest, I enjoyed a lot of it too. I enjoy a lot of Raw most weeks, but there was a few things which felt a little bit messy at points, but we'll get into that a bit later, because also joining us, we have Dryzzy. How are you, Dryzzy?
I am good. It's Tuesday. It's my show. I'm on every Tuesday now. Tuesdays are mine. These are my world. So Raw wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. I don't. It makes you feel. I don't know if maybe it's just me, but the show doesn't make me feel like there's a pay-per-view Saturday.
That's a good point. Yeah, did not feel like a traditional go-home show at all.
Like I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, it did feel like a bit of a weird one. It really did, especially the match. We closed with. It wasn't like we closed on the Balor versus Carmelo Hayes feud itself, but let's get straight into things and let's talk how Raw opened. And it opened with Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley being in the center of the ring. And Dominic Mysterio, put the mic up to his mouth, and the arena went crazy booing him once again. His heat he has is just so amazing. Of course, Drizzy, you said last week, his theme should just be, the crowd booing. It was so perfect. It was great. And yeah, honestly, I can't remember the last time a mid-card star in WWE had this much genuine heel heat. It truly is exceptional, and I hope WWE continue to do well with it. Yeah, perhaps Elias, yeah. But even then, it was often cheap heat. It wasn't natural heat. It was, when he'd say something about the city and all of that. But Cody Rhodes came out, and the two had a bit of a face-off. Dominic decided to go and stand behind the ropes because he didn't want to, get taken out by Cody's metal cast, as probably what Clark would say. But Rhea Ripley did a great job of basically being the translator in this segment, because every time Dominic tried saying something, the crowd would just boo over him and you couldn't hear anything. So Rhea did well to, then, say what Dominic was trying to say. And then Cody Rhodes decided to quote the, cat in a hat. And basically, he said that he did that because Dominic is a child, so he's going to talk to him like a child. Dominic Mysterio was adamant that he's not a child, so because he's not a child, he decided to ask Adam Pearce for a match later on in the night against an opponent of his choosing. And that man was Akira Tozawa, and yeah, Dominic actually almost lost to him, but in the end did get the victory. But Chaos, what did you think about this opening segment between Cody Rhodes and Dom Dom?
Uh, it was fine. Obviously, let me just say, like, obviously, everyone gave their thoughts of what they thought the overall show was. For me, quickly or just briefly, I thought this show was it felt very throwaway. It felt very filler. And obviously, this from how they opened up the show, it was going to be the Cody show, really, and everything else was kind of going to be secondary, and the rest of the whole show kind of proved that. But this promo, it was cool. It was yeah, it wasn't cringe or anything like that. It's, Cody spoke truth. I'm gonna talk to you like a boy, because you are.
Yeah.
You're and all that stuff. And then even though Dom was like, I'm not a boy, I'm a real man, even though I stayed in custody for like an hour. But yeah, the heat was great. I have seen, or I've noticed that a lot of that, for some reason, a lot of that heat was piped in. Because I've seen some videos online where from fan videos where it would that the heat wasn't as loud, and even when you watch it back, when you see like the boos happening, there was not much reaction going like in the background with the crowd, so it was definitely piped in, and it just accelerated
Oh,
it times
okay.
10. So yeah, that was kind of like, it took you out of it for a bit. But yeah, like you said, Rhea Ripley handled it very well. Even though they're slightly still booing her, but obviously it's Rhea Ripley, you can't really boo her for long, kind of thing. And yeah, the whole storyline throughout, go for some reason, I just, in my head, when Dominic said he wanted an opponent, in my head I was like, I bet it's going to be Akira Tozawa. I mean, it's for some reason he's the perfect guy. Yeah, it was just like he's like the fallback guy that you can just throw in there for these kind of things, and then sure enough, it was him. So yeah, it was fine for what it was. Nothing memorable. But it was a nice setup, and yeah, Dominic is just, like you say, is taking the ball and is running with it, and that's the most important thing. I just hope he gets his head caved in. And Money in the Bank. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, hopefully. And we will be there to see that. But we've got Soul in the comments saying, Chaos, he's not happy with you that you bought Prime. He really is not at all. And we got
Oh my God.
One Superfly there saying, drink the Prime, Chaos, and tell us how awful it is.
I plan to.
Oh, you're building up to it. You're
worry.
starting to tease us. You're building it up like, a wrestling match, basically. But we got One Superfly in the comments saying Raw's format really did feel like it was a Vince show. But now let's move on to the main event of Raw, but the continuation of the Cody and Dominic feud, as Cody Rhodes competed himself in the main event of Raw against Damian Priest. And it was a fun little match. It was a good, solid Raw main event, but Cody stood tall to end the show. I mean, a lot of people were, theorizing it'll be Seth versus Damian Priest again at SummerSlam. I think this loss confirms that won't be the plan. But yeah, Cody's got some momentum heading into Money in the Bank, while Damian Priest doesn't have so much momentum moving into the Money in the Bank ladder match. But Dryzzy, what did you think about this encounter?
It was a solid match. I think this was more so yes, it was a Cody match to get him on the card, get him wrestling, get him some momentum as he goes into his. Funny, he needs momentum going against Dominic. He, I guess he needs momentum, but that's what the whole purpose of this match was. It was a solid match, a great match, good main event. Another reason to put Damian in the main event. It takes me out of it because you knew what was going to happen before it even happened. You knew Cody wasn't taking a loss. You know Damian's taking the loss because it's Judgment Day. It's kind of hard when you know what's going to happen to still be enthralled in it. A lot of times, I know the end of stuff, but it doesn't take away from the journey. I knew what was going to happen. I almost booked this match myself. That's how bad it was. So Yeah, I mean, it's a solid match. I mean, there's really not too much more you can really say other than it's solid. You never get bad matches out of people. We're at the point in WWE, everybody can wrestle, everybody can
Yeah.
go. You're not gonna get any bad matches really. So
Yeah, that is a very good point, you know. Like there wasn't we kind of knew what was going to happen. In fact, we all did know what was going to happen, but it was a fun match. But is a good match enough to make us care? That's I mean, that is the question which a lot of people have been talking about this week, obviously to do a Forbidden Door. And I think that pay-per-view kind of did answer that question to most people anyway, because it was a really good pay-per-view. We got Soul in the comments saying, hot take, I would not mind if Dominic beat Mysterio to help elevate Dom.
What?
I
Beat
mean,
Mysterio?
Mysterio, Ben.
not Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio. I'm having a nightmare, but no, beat Dominic Mysterio. I mean, to be fair, right? I wouldn't have too much of an issue. Maybe Brock Lesnar could even cost Cody the victory if that was the case. But I do think Cody's going to get the win, and then they'll do another match with Lesnar at SummerSlam. And then we got Clark in the comments, and Clark is saying, you know what would be great? If they gave Cody a metal leg cast, he could kick people with too.
He couldn't have a go at Cody from in person on the podcast today, so he decided to come in the comments to do it instead.
Yeah.
I expect nothing less from you, Clark.
I was going to say earlier, Chaos, when you mentioned you thought it was Monday for a second, you'd be forgiven for that because, of course, Clark isn't on the show today, and that is because he is playing some golf. So let's wish Clark some luck, and hopefully he wins a couple of games. But now let's move on to the next topic, and let's talk about Raw's three-way feud, everyone's favorite three-way feud on Raw, as Nakamura took on Ricochet with Bronson Reed on commentary. And early on in the match, Ricochet and Nakamura turned their attention to Bronson Reed, and he got kind of caught with some accidental strikes, some deliberate strikes, resulting in him getting ejected from the match. And I really did not like this, and I will tell you why I did not like this, right? Bronson Reed is a heel. He stood on that apron to go in that ring and beat Ricochet and Nakamura up for what they just did to him. However, the referee says, no, you're ejected from the match. Well, why should he care about that? It's not like he's in the corner of either men. It's not one of those things where if he's the manager of them, so they'd get disqualified. He shouldn't care. He should be like, I don't care. Get in the ring and beat them both up. That would have made a lot more sense here. You made him look weak. Nakamura and Ricochet did have a banger of a match, though, so I love that part of it. And Ricochet got the clean victory, which really did surprise me, as I thought they were building a bit more momentum up for Nakamura to propel him as another match with him and Gunther again or something. But I'm not going to complain too much because it was a really fun match, and Ricochet also needs momentum. But it was just the Bronson Reed getting ejected and him actually following that order. That's what kind of annoyed me. But David, what did you think?
I don't subscribe to your logic. Your thinking and logic, man. No, you're completely right. I said you're absolutely right. At no point did I notice it until you brought it up. So I could only I was focused on the great wrestling happening in the ring with Nakamura and Ricochet. You are right. I can't say you're not. It didn't bother me. Maybe it will do now in hindsight. I thought the match was great. Some really, really good action. Towards the start, I'll be honest, there were a couple of spots very early on where there was a little bit of hesitation, some kind of a little bit of waiting for things to happen and not quite on this. But once they clicked and they got there, I thought it was really, really great. There was a couple of kicks in there that were just brutal. And that's what you expect from a Nakamura match. And Ricochet brought the fly, brought the aerial acrobatics, and Nakamura brought his kicks. Not surprised that Ricochet got the win. Really, I think that it's one of those matches you can go either way. What I do like is that these two are probably the people with the least chance of winning Money in the Bank. So I do like that they've had this Bronson Reed feud going on to kind of give them something to go off of. They're not just bodies to fill. They are a bit, but they have something to go from past this. But yeah, really enjoyed the match. Not a great deal to say, just really good action. Can't disagree with you on the Bronson Reed thing. Didn't bother me, but I completely understand why it bothered you.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of was the story, actually, of last night's Raw. And in fact, most Raws recently, there's been a lot of really good wrestling on it, and maybe that's why I feel like I've enjoyed Raw so much. But at the same time, there's a lot of good wrestling, but it's also like there's the booking's not been particularly great. The storylines aren't that great outside of maybe a couple. But we've got a comment from Soul here saying, I feel like Bronson Reed has been booked poorly. You know, he should be a monster and he should have the US title around his waist already. I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all. I also think he's just somebody, you know, who's there who you can throw him a feud with. And I don't think that many losses would hurt him as long as he gets some wins as well. He's just somebody good to have on your roster. But you need to make his character make sense and not look weak. Number one Superfly is saying that he expects Bronson Reed to beat up Shinsuke and Ricochet during the Money in the Bank match. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I think it was, I can't remember if it was you, Dryzzy, or it was Clark a couple of weeks ago on the show, said that they thought Bronson Reed could potentially enter the Money in the Bank match, just enter himself into it. And that was before Logan Paul was added, but who knows?
Someone's going to get powerbombed. Someone's going to get powerbombed through a ladder, I think, and it's going to be one of them too, to be written off the match. There's always someone that gets written off out of the match, and that's probably one of them too.
Oh, it'll probably be both of them.
Yeah, could well be.
Maybe
That'd be quite unfortunate. Becomes a 5-man match, but I mean, at least you have got Logan Paul added now, so it went from 6 to a 7, so it's not becoming a fatal 4-way. But we've got, oh gosh, we got another comment from Clark here saying, let's just get Cody to wear a helmet for Cody Reigns too, so he can headbutt with him with it as well. Clark's agenda against Cody. Oh, I can't believe it. They're biased. Everybody says in our comments we're biased against WWE. They were biased against AEW. No, Clark's just biased against Cody Rhodes. But let's now move on to talk about somebody a lot of the internet wrestling community are biased against, and that is Ronda Rousey. And Ronda Rousey took on Raquel Rodriguez. And I mean, it was an enjoyable match. It wasn't anything, you know, outstanding, but it was fun. Ronda got the victory with an armbar into a roll-up pin, looked quite nice. But the thing that bothered me is they were teasing Raquel versus Rhea last week. Where's that gone? Now Raquel's taking losses. It was like this time last week we were like, you know, Raquel's the only sensible challenger for Rhea. And now that's done for as well. I just don't know where they're going with Rhea Ripley's title reign at all. Chaos, do you have any idea?
Definitely Rhea's title reign is kind of up in the air. Like, she doesn't even have a match at Money in the Bank, which I was surprised at. But the thing with Raquel, I think that they're planting the seeds. I think that's the thing. You would expect it to obviously carry on the week after, but she's concentrating on getting the tag team titles back at Money in the Bank. So I think that's why, instead of her having two things at the same time, as if people can't multitask at the same time, they're just going to try and bypass this. Ronda and Shayna retain, and then maybe that's when they can do a Rhea versus Raquel, probably SummerSlam, maybe. You know, just as a for the time being. Yeah, I don't think they've written that off. Yeah, I think that's definitely in the back burner. Now, the match itself, I'll be honest, it was in the background for me. I'm not really, even though I'm happy that Ronda is out of the women's title picture, and the tag team thing is obviously, we were clamoring for her to be in the tag team and become tag team champions and whatnot. But still, at the same time, this match didn't really do anything for me. Like, their match against Alba Fire and what's the other lady?
Isla Dawn.
Isla Dawn. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That match was great. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But this one, I think it's also because I'm tired of seeing Raquel as a face. I miss her being a dominant heel, but I think she's going to be the face for the foreseeable future if she is going to feud with Rhea. Yeah, it's it was a throwaway match. They had to book this to further the storyline for Money in the Bank. But yeah, it was just in the background for me. I don't remember anything out of it other than Ronda winning. So fair enough. It is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, I said months ago on the show that I feel like Raquel and Liv should have had a really dominant reign. Now, of course, Liv's injury kind of, you know, ruined that. Nothing you can do about it. And now I don't think they're going to take the titles off Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler this quickly. So I do think I wanted Ricardo and Liv to be a tag team for quite a while. And then I compared it to Batista and Rey Mysterio for Ricardo to turn on Liv and then to have a really big blood feud between the two. I have a feeling that Ricardo and Liv are going to lose on Saturday, and then Ricardo's going to turn on Liv. I mean, perhaps then they do the triple threat at SummerSlam and have them, do that with Rhea Ripley, because they need to do something with Rhea Ripley. She's the champion, and there's kind of like nobody, unless they're going to do an Natalya rematch again, which nobody really wants.
Well, she's bullying Natalya right now, left, right, and center. So that is the forefront right now. She's bullying her like she's been bullying her. Since,
I'll tell you what the next feud is. The next feud I think is Becky. I think they're gonna, because they teased it.
They're going to do Becky Trish at SummerSlam, I think.
We've had Becky Trish already.
We are, but they're continuing, aren't they?
I know.
It's still going on now.
I don't feel like Ripley and Raquel is a big enough SummerSlam match, so I think they might do Rhea versus Lynch and have Trish and Stewie Stark cost Lynch against Ripley, and then they build it through into the rest of the year. I don't know.
Maybe
but the thing is, maybe, but also like I think because they're looking to have quite a few blockbuster matches on SummerSlam, they can actually do a Rhea versus Raquel, and it's not going to be looked down upon.
Yeah.
Like there's other matches that they can easily put on that's that'll be bigger, and then people will be like, okay, yeah, I don't mind this one. You know what I mean? So it may not be big, but if they put a good enough card, they could definitely put Rhea and Raquel at SummerSlam for sure. Definitely. I think so.
Great point. And we got number one Superfly in the comments over on YouTube saying if Raquel turns on Liv, this would be maybe the third or fourth time Liv gets beat up by her own partner. And that's true. That's why I really wanted it for them, build it over time, right? Like it be almost like a year storyline.
She's the new Sting.
WrestleMania. Yeah. That's what I would have liked to see. It be build up over time, but obviously that's all happened now. So I think they'll rush it, and they need to do something with Rhea Ripley. I want to very quickly add before we move on. Yes, I don't want to see Natalya challenge again. Yes, I'm sick of the Natalya-Rhea storyline. Yes, I think Natalya needs to do something to freshen up her act. But she's been getting so much disrespect in the internet wrestling community the last couple of weeks. And it's really unfair. Like, some people are saying she's bad in the ring. Like, what? She's not bad in the ring. Maybe she's probably not one of the best ever, but she's very, very solid. And she's consistently been on top of her game now for well over a decade. And she's WWE through and through. She cares about this industry more than anything. And the disrespect she's being thrown off, given off some of these pages on social media, it's really been frustrating me. But rant over, but let's keep on the topic of women's wrestling, and let's talk about the Women's Money in the Bank Summit, as Corey Graves opened up the forbidden door between Raw and SmackDown and hosted the Women's Money in the Bank Summit. Bayley opened it up by explaining how she's the only one in the match who's won it before. I'm glad they mentioned that. Then Selena jumped in, as the kind of logical babyface, and saying that she's done enough of damage control, dismissing the other competitors in the match. She should have said controlling the narrative. That would have been a good pop. Becky, then Trish said that she needs to win so she can save the women's division. Becky and Trish broke out into a fight. Everybody broke out into a fight. Typical Money in the Bank match, pre-fight like we had on Raw last week. And then in the end, Becky Lynch stood tall. So yeah, I mean, Becky Lynch certainly isn't winning Money in the Bank. That's what that tells me.
It.
But Dryzzy, what did you think about this?
I absolutely hate these Money in the Bank summits. I've only ever seen like one really good one, the one with Dean Ambrose, and he instantly put it like, we all know how this is gonna end, so let's just go ahead and get there. But I've never seen the appeal with these things. Like, it gives gives you a chance to get the visual of seeing everybody in the ring and get the understand the grasp that you're all about to be in a human demolition derby for these two briefcases up top. It doesn't point you in the direction of who you think is going to win. All it does is further, and in this case, this all further the two separate storylines that are happening in this. which is Becky, Trish, and Zoe, and whether WWE wants to say it out loud, Bailey and Io, because that's
Yeah.
definitely going to come to a head in this match. And Becky did exactly what she should have. Instead of getting on the mic and doing a whole bunch of talking, she went out and punched somebody. As these things always end. Like I said, I've never seen the appeal of them. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I don't hate too many things in WWE. This is one of them, though.
Oh, okay.
They're as
Wow.
pointless as a
Wow.
contract signing.
That's
That-
true. That is true.
that.
They don't. I don't mind them when they're done right. You mentioned the 2016 one with Dean Ambrose. I love that one. So that is a great shout. And they've never done one as good since. But I did enjoy that when they were all on top of the ladders together. But yeah, you kind of knew how this segment was going to go, and it was very basic. The dialogue was very basic, and yeah, it just broke out into a fight. And we got Matt Williams in the comments saying, "All I know is somehow Natalia will find her way into."
That'd be the first one she's not in.
That's
This is the first
true.
women's Money in the Bank ladder match she's not in.
That is very true.
Yes. She holds the record, I believe.
Yeah, she does. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she
mean, they did
does.
that. That's the other thing.
And-
Before this match, they did a promo package about it where they mentioned like that, and they just had the
By the
stats. And I love
numbers.
that. I love that.
They left something out of that.
One,
Oh,
They said that 3 people have, so they're the only ones that successfully cashed in 2 times, and that same person is the only person who's done it back to back. CM Punk.
that's true.
Yeah. They gave 2 of the 3 names and then
Yeah,
just
they did,
mysteriously
yeah.
went, anyway, and just completely
Yeah.
ducked it.
That is very, very true. I didn't even notice that. Yeah,
can I
I'm
just
going to be
quickly
honest.
say,
I'm not surprised.
Who's
Yeah.
just want to quickly ask, who thinks that the next person that actually wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, the women's one, they're going to lose?
Oh, I think
Because
definitely.
so.
it really
Definitely.
felt like they were pushing the fact that like it's been 100 success rate. So that's what
We're overdue.
What do you think?
We're overdue for it.
I mean, on the video tomorrow, which is going to be on Money in the Bank predictions chaos, I'm going to explain exactly what I think is going to happen with these Money in the Bank winners, because I've already said the men's one. I'm convinced Logan Paul's winning, and I'm convinced he's winning the World Championship on Saturday night as well, leading to Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. But we'll get into that on tomorrow's show. But that's just a little bit of a teaser for you guys. But now let's move on to a bit of a dream match we had on Raw. And this came about as earlier in the day, Riddle challenged Gunther to a match at Money in the Bank, which I won't complain about saying at all. And then Gunther accepted it on Raw, but then also took out Matt Riddle. So Sami Zayn went up to Imperium with Kevin Owens and was like, well, we're not happy our friend was hurt. And Kevin Owens was like, Riddle's our friend? Sami's like, yes, Riddle's our friend. And Sami basically just goes, I want a match with you tonight, Riddle. Not Riddle, Gunther. And Gunther versus Sami Zayn was announced, and these two had a bit of a banger. They really did. It was a very fun match. It's what you would expect from a Gunther and Sami Zayn encounter. A lot of fun, a lot of good wrestling. And in the end, Gunther got the victory, and Giovanni Vinci returned, and he assisted the victory using his crutch. But David, what did you think about this match?
Okay, for podcast viewers, can you see from my smile? Right. So when I first discovered Walter I discovered Walter when he debuted in 2019 for WWE. Since then, I have wondered what a Walter versus Sami Zayn match would look like. It's been on the top of my dream match list for so many years. This was a terrific wrestling match. Was it the 5-star pay-per-view match that I envisioned in my head? No. Do I think that is something that could happen down the line? Yes. I'm focusing on what we have today. What we had today was a really, really great wrestling match. The MVP of this was Kevin Owens on commentary. I thought he really elevated this segment by his energy and his enthusiasm. It wasn't annoying. It was so earnest and so like entertaining with him. When the person on commentary is rooting for the babyface, you root for the babyface by osmosis. And some of the sells from Sami Zayn off the chops were just superb. Some of the near falls were really great. I'm not going to beat the dead horse. I've brought up the Imperium cheating thing over and over again that they never used to cheat. That was their whole gimmick, and they do it every week. Now, not gonna do that. I'm beating a dead horse at this point. But such tremendous wrestling. The Riddle versus Gunther match, I can't wait for. They had some wars in progress and WXW years ago. And I think they're gonna have another one. I think it's got the potential to be my favorite match of the night from a personal perspective. I think Riddle's such a good wrestler. I think Gunther is such a tremendous wrestler, and I think their styles, we've already shown they can gel so well. I think they're going to gel well again. And the foot injury adds an extra layer going into the match, which is always interesting. Really big fan of all of this, and please give me more Gunther singles matches on television. They're the best.
Yeah, absolutely. We have had a couple of them in the last few weeks, and they're a bit random at times, but they are bangers. And I do agree with you as well with the Gunther cheating thing. But I kind of knew it was only a matter of time before it happened in WWE, because that's just it's the way it is, and it annoys me. It does. One of the few complaints I do have about WWE's booking is the heels always have to cheat, and some heels don't have to cheat. Anyway, that's a rant for another day. We got Matt Williams in the comments. He's not happy that Natalia, is being on Raw every week, and he's making a joke that Tyson Kidd is booking her. But I mean, firstly, he doesn't have any booking power. He's a match producer, so he can work out what's going on in a match, but he's not actually a booker, right? Secondly, again, I said it early on in the show, I'll say it again. She has put so much work into this industry over the last decade. She's had some bad booking and bad, character storylines and stuff at times. Maybe some of that's her idea, I don't know. But everyone's been too harsh on her. They really, really are. I feel bad as well, because she has really given up her life for wrestling. She's given everything to the wrestling business. I really think that people are being too harsh on her. But anyway, let's now move on and let's talk about Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. And one of the things very early on in the show was a pre-recorded video package of Finn Balor explaining how he has not become bitter. He was made bitter because of Seth Rollins and what he did to him in 2016. And this video package was excellent. It absolutely was. I hope they do more of these. You could see how angry Finn Balor was. It was fantastic character work. I love it. You know me, I'm all about characters. I'm all about storylines. And this is what I love. Seth Rollins then came out and everyone presumed he'd get straight onto the Balor thing. Instead, no, he called out Carmelo Hayes, who was in the crowd, and hyped up Carmelo Hayes' match against Baron Corbin, what will be tonight on NXT. Rollins then eventually did acknowledge the Balor stuff, and then called him out to the ring, but Balor did not come out. Rollins then went on to explain how, this is the best version of Finn Balor, but the best version of Finn Balor won't be able to beat the best version of Seth Rollins. And then Finn Balor attempted to take out Rollins from behind. And I mentioned earlier on this show that I had that issue with the Bronson Reed thing. There was two issues I had with this show, and this was the second one. Because, being realistic, nobody really believes Finn Balor is going to win on the weekend. They don't. And Finn Balor, Rollins saw that attack coming. And then he just took him out. And it just made Balor seem a little bit weak. How that careful plan, Rollins outsmarted him. So unless you are doing a Rollins win on the have Rollins lose on the weekend, I really was not a fan of that at all. Of course, later on in the match, we'll get into in just a minute, Balor did get the victory, so he wasn't awful. But anyway, Balor went out to then get a chair after Seth Rollins outsmarted him. Carmelo Hayes took the chair off him, and then Balor retreated. And Balor versus Hayes was announced for later on in the night. But Chaos, what did you think of this encounter between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor? And do you feel like it kind of made Finn Balor even less believable heading into Saturday after, Seth Rollins just outsmarting him?
To be fair, it was to the point when I didn't really think of it that way until you've actually mentioned it, to be honest. I agree with you regarding the video packages. They were absolutely mint. The Finn Balor one, he was all saying, like, you want the Finn Balor from 7 years ago. Don't worry, you ain't going to get him. That guy's dead. This was even worse. So, it was great character work, as you said. And yeah, the little promo they did with introducing Carmelo Hayes, I felt like the Carmelo Hayes thing was a bit more damaging, if anything. The person that got hurt the most was Carmelo, because he got introduced on the main roster. He had a decent backstage segment, but then you make the champ lose, and he's got this big match against Baron Corbin tonight. It's not really a great look. I do see, for the longest of time, NXT has been right now more than ever they are the developmental brand, which means that they are not as good. They will never be as good as the main roster. It wasn't like that before, when it was black and gold, but now obviously it's definitely trending that way. But either way, it wasn't really a great look. They could have done a dusty finish or like just a no contest. But yeah, he won clean. So yeah, I don't think it really hurts Finn Balor. Finn Balor, in my eyes, is still a believable person to just about to possibly take the title. It all depends on where that match lands. Is it before Money in the Bank or after Money in the Bank for you to actually for that Logan prediction to come true?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Other than that, the match itself was great. Finn against Carmelo. I just feel like the person that really got hurt the most was Carmelo more than any of that three.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just touched on it. But after this, in what I expected to be the main event, but it wasn't the main event, Carmelo Hayes, the NXT
champion.
My bad.
I spoiled it. My bad.
It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry. Took on Finn Balor. And yeah, like you said, this was a match which neither could lose. Kobe Galanzowski wrote it in his review for the show as well. It was a weird match because neither man could lose. Now, when it was booked on the show, I thought, okay, well, Balor needs to get the victory. And it's obvious what's going to happen. Baron Corbin is going to cost Carmelo Hayes the match to help build up their match. Well, tonight on NXT. But no, Baron Corbin was nowhere to be seen, and Carmelo Hayes lost cleanly to Finn Balor. On one hand, I'm really happy, Finn Balor is looking strong heading into that match after the segment before, which did him no favors. But it did make Carmelo Hayes look weak heading into his defense tonight, and in just general, really. So I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. Hopefully there's a long-term plan, but I have a feeling there isn't. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people are speculating on the internet that perhaps, Vince is involved in creative again, because we know he's back with the company, of course. He's back as the president of the company. Who knows? Because this certainly did kind of smell like a Vince McMahon move. But Dryzzy, what did you think about it?
I absolutely agree with everything Chaos said. This is almost, and this is the second time they've done this. They did this a few weeks ago with the women's tag team titles with Candice and Cadence and Saturday Night. I get them mixed up.
Caden Carter and Katana Chance.
Yes, those two. All those.
They are two very similar names, in fairness.
Very.
Yes,
yeah, but they did that and kind of gave them two steps back before they could walk forward. And this is kind of what this is doing to Carmelo Hayes. You're taking two steps back, and then you have to come up more when you actually get up here, because I'm pretty sure he's not going to come up to the main roster for a couple of weeks. This is more so just a taste test to make people go and watch him and Corbin, who had a pretty good promo last week that made you want to see that match. It's gonna be it wasn't a bad match, and I feel like I've been pretty negative about this show. It was not a bad match in any way. It showcased Carmelo the perfect way. It showcased Balor the perfect way. I just wish that it wasn't against each other.
That is very truthful. Indeed. It was just a weird match to book. It really, really was. But let's hope there is a long-term plan. Maybe we're overthinking this. Maybe, Carmelo's going to turn heel.
No,
They have something for him. And there's going to be a big thing with him and Seth Rollins. Yeah, that's probably not Chaos. You're probably bang on right there. But we got a comment here from Anthony Manzano. And I'm going to tell you, Anthony Manzano, because the question is, let me scroll up to the top. If you guys had the chance to go back in WWE history to re-debut 3 WCW guys, how would you have done it? I'm going to say comment that at the start of the show on Thursday, which will be starting, I believe, at 11 p.m. UK time, which will be 6 p.m. Eastern and 3 p.m. Pacific, because Clark and Anthony, that is a question for them. But David,
good one for them. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this, right, David? Do you really believe Finn Balor can beat Seth Rollins on Saturday? Does any part of you actually believe that it's possible?
Yes, I do. I don't think it will. By any, I don't think Balor will, but I think they've done a good enough job. Particularly, the key thing was that promo package. That promo package sold me. That really sold me. I think it was the best thing on Raw, and that's in a show that had Gunther and Sami Zayn. I thought the promo was so, and I think the whole thing about Seth Rollins laughing at Balor works so well when you link it back to the current Seth Rollins character.
Yeah.
So that maybe really nothing's changed, and that is really, really interesting. I think that it's going to be a great match. I think Balor will get a great response because he's from his hometown of Ireland. I hate when they do this. Sorry. But yeah, but he'll get a great response from the London crowd. It'll be a banging match. I think Seth will win, but I think it's believable enough that they can sell you on near falls. And I think that is really all you need. I think the match will be great. And I think Balor is in with a shot, although I don't think he will actually do it.
Yeah, no, that is that is a very good point. And I love that promo package too. It's just the fact that immediately after it, Seth outsmarted Balor. That's just what bothered me. And you guys know,
I mean,
I'm over the top about character work.
I will say he did get run off 2-1. Like
he got outsmarted before Carmelo got involved.
It was booked in reverse.
Yeah,
the promo should have happened first.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. The match should have happened first, then promo, then Seth.
But then there's no reason for Finn Balor and Carmelo Hayes to have any heat. Then
that's true. That is also true.
It's just a wrestling match.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd probably have the promo. I'd have the promo package in between the initial Seth Rollins promo.
Yeah,
and then
I agree with that.
That's what I would have done.
I do agree with
that.
I do agree with that.
But Chaos, before we wrap up the show, I believe you have another announcement, and I also believe you haven't tried that Prime yet. We need to see that.
Yeah, you got more announcements than TK.
Okay, which way you want to do first?
Come on, Prime. Let's do the Prime.
Right, let me just make the. All right, let's do the Prime. All right, let me just quickly open it right now. So this is, like I said, this is the Ice Pop one. I have never tried a Prime in my life. I still can't believe I'm actually doing this. So let's hope my colon is actually intact after this. So let's go. It's not bad, actually. It's not bad.
See?
I wouldn't. I would not rush to go and get this. No. I wouldn't rush this to get this. This is probably going to be the first and last time I'm going to have it, but I could actually tolerate it. I do feel my stomach churning, though. I'm not joking.
No, it's not. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's a bit sweet, and it's got a weird aftertaste. So, yeah, I'll give that a solid. I'll give that a 6.9 out of 10.
Need some hot sauce.
Oh, no. Your soul's not happy with you in the comments, Chaos. But come on, then. What is your major announcement?
So, yeah, TK style. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to... No, I'm joking. No, it's basically pretty much... I know, I blinked, yeah. Soul has actually given it away in the comments slightly. But, yeah, during the latest episode of Take It to the Table, he wanted me to make this announcement. Basically, he's anointed me the new MVP of Wrestling Republic. I don't know if you're happy with that, Ben, but yeah, it's done. It's done now. It is what it is. I expect to pay a rise in my check in my bank account by tomorrow. Thank you very much, MVP of the Republic. Thank you very much. There you go.
Oh my gosh, that was
in classic.
I don't even know what to say to that one.
In classic TK fashion.
Yeah,
TK like.
You know what?
Oh no! But anyway, well, the new MVP of the Republic, everyone, Chaos. But also, guys, I wanted to really quickly thank everyone who watches before we end the show, because we have now hit 1 million views on Instagram Reels, on Reels related to this show, which is huge. So thank you to everybody who watches us. It means so much to us all. We're here every day. We'll be back here tomorrow, an hour earlier, 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Pacific. For Money in the Bank prediction. So we will see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and a 5-star on Spotify. Thank you so much. And thank you to David, Dryzzy, and Chaos for joining me as well. See you guys tomorrow. Enjoy.